Tony Ferguson, oh my gosh, this one had me stumped. I was laughing so hard. And I don't even know if this is funny. It struck me as funny. He comes out and says, if Oliveira misses weight by more than 3 pounds, the fight's off. I'm not fighting him. And the reason I thought it was funny is because if he missed weight, I've heard that one before. It's rare a fighter will call it ahead of time. I have heard it though. I've even heard it in big fights. Conor McGregor said it about his fight with Khabib. Said it Thursday. Don't forget they weighed in on Friday. Day before weigh-ins, Conor said, no, we have a contracted weight. He's got to make the weight. And the press pushed back and they said, well, are you saying you won't fight him? You won't fight him if he misses weight. And Khabib had missed weight, I think, twice in his career. And Conor said he's got to make the contracted weight. That's how he answered it. He didn't say yes or no. He said he's got to make the contracted weight, which means no. No, the fight will be off. Now, whether he stood to his guns or not, we'll never know. I only offer that example to you to tell you I have heard of guys before saying this weight matters. You break the deal, fight's off. I've never heard of any, and this is what made me laugh. I've never heard of anybody say he can miss weight. He can miss it by 1 pound. He can miss it by 2 pounds. He cannot miss it by any more than 3 pounds. Because you wonder, well, how serious are we about that? 3 pounds, 1/10 over. Fights off, fights on. 2.9 pounds, fights on, fights off. He was very specific to say, and he even had reason so. I mean, Tony was well thought out in this. Apparently, DeBronx, Oliveira, has missed weight multiple times. I believe it was 2 times. It could be up to 3 times in his career. I was not aware of that. I bring it to you because perhaps you weren't aware of it. And he missed weight by meaningful amounts. He didn't miss it by 1/2 pound or 1/4 pound, 1/10 pound. He missed it by several pounds. And therefore, Tony took I think he missed it one time by 4 pounds, but Tony took however much Oliveira is known to miss weight by, shrink that down, find some kind of an average and spot him 3. Okay. And by the way, I take Tony at his word, and I don't know that Tony's being unreasonable. If a guy misses weight and has broken the deal because nobody else will punish that guy, it's almost incumbent upon you to punish him. But by you punishing him, you punish yourself, you punish all the fans, and you piss off the MMA world. It's one of those things, but you've done nothing wrong. It's one of those weird times in life, and definitely within the sport, when the guy who has been violated will be punished greater if he refuses to do something that the guy who promised he would do something didn't do. It's one of these things. And so I don't think this will ever be tested. I do not believe that we're going to see this. But it's at least interesting enough that we must discuss it because Tony Ferguson, who is a man of his word and who does take weigh-ins very seriously. I mean, we know that. We know that because of UFC 249, where it got moved 2 weeks and Tony made weight on the day that he originally agreed to make weight and made it again on the second time he agreed to make weight. I mean, numbers matter to Tony. Weights matter at specific times. They really matter to Tony. They matter to all of us. They really matter to Tony. This could be a very unusual situation if Tony is cool in the gang with Oliveira missing weight. Plus, he doesn't have to make championship weight, right? It's 155 pounds, but in non-champion, that means 156. You get that pound. So he gets an additional 3 on top of that, but no more. And then when you look at this fight, it's also interesting to know, where do they go from here? It's very different paths in some ways, right? I was talking to Ariel Helwani earlier today. This was not an insider information. This was Ariel sharing a personal opinion. I offer that for you. Doesn't come out. It doesn't go against Ariel's credibility as an insider. He was just personally saying he believes a win by Tony could go as far as bringing Khabib out of retirement. And his only argument on that was, look, Khabib has done everything. There is nothing in the sport, in the division, nothing. All the numbers are beautiful. 29-0 is a beautiful, never before done number that nobody meaningful on the roster right now looks like they can even copy, let alone beat. Right? I mean, the guy that's getting ready to beat 29-0 is a 6th grader or a 5th grader somewhere in the world right now. It's one of those things where these numbers are beautiful. Khabib has done everything, to Ariel's point, except beat Tony. Does he need to beat? I'm not going down that road. Is that an important thing to he, his father, his family, his team? I'm not going down that road. I don't know. I don't have the foggiest idea. It is true, though, if you wanted to poke something in Khabib's side, it would be that. You've done everything in the world that you said you were going to do except beat Tony Ferguson. It's one of those things where, as Ariel said it, it did make me at least think. It did make me at least think, because if something's going to be true, then the opposite side of the coin has to be false. So is there anything is there anything more likely to get Khabib back than a fight with Tony? If we've already established it is not fame that makes Khabib tick, then putting him in a main event somewhere is not going to do it. If we've already established that it is not money that makes Khabib tick, then giving him a rematch with Conor is not going to do it. We're going to need something else. Is that something else Tony? I don't think that was the worst prediction I've ever heard. In fact, I think there was something there. So where does Tony go? Whether it's into Khabib, whether it's a winner of Poirier McGregor, I think we would all at least and expect it to be something pretty damn cool. For Tony, is the same true for the Bronx? Right? If Oliveira wins, does it bump him to that absolute upper echelon? He's already ranked number 5. He's on a 7-fight win streak. But generally in this sport, you go to main card, you go to co-main event, you go to main event, you go to title fight. Find a lot of examples where you don't do that. This is a co-main event. Do you go from co-main event over a guy who's coming off a loss in Tony to a world championship fight? Because if you don't, then where do you go? Right? Oliveira is going to be one of the guys too. Oliveira will not be possible to undermine for any reason. He's already not there for wins, losses, for recent wins, losses, for rankings purposes. He's already not there. He's only not there for name recognition. That all changes. You beat Tony, for sure. Everyone will be talking about it. Everybody will be paying attention. Everybody will want to see you next. Is it enough to disrupt the Chandler, Gaethje, Conor, Poirier 4-way that we have right now? Because if we're right to establish Gaethje, Chandler, Conor, Poirier kind of in a bracket as of to themselves, then the winners are going to advance. That takes up the better balance of 2021. What does Oliveira do in the meantime? Now he doesn't get to fight a winner coming off all these impressive wins. He would be forced to fight a loser if he, in fact, is going to stay at the top of the bill. Because without a Chandler, Gaethje, Conor, Poirier, you see where you go. It's just one of these things. It's one of these things where it isn't equal for both guys. I wouldn't predict. A lot of it has to do with how does the win look? What does he have to say afterwards? How much of our attention and captivation of our imagination can he garner?